Good morning, Friday the 27th of January 2012. Welcome along to today's United Kingdom talk. As you can hear, my voice is now booming again, boys and girls. I am booming. I am booming. Hello, how are you? Oh my God, I meant to tell you yesterday, the funniest thing, we should not laugh at other people's misfortunes, I know that. But I must tell you, at the karaoke night on Wednesday at Belushi's in London Bridge, Borough High Street, this girl, lovely girl actually, and she's been a few times, very young, very pretty, but she does like a bit of a drink, as they all do in there. And she got onto this stage. And I don't know what happened, but she had the mic stand, and the entire lot went over, and she landed up in a very small, curled up, crumpled ball right in front of me underneath the table. And I just wish that I had had my camera with me at the time. I would love to have shown you that, but there we are. Poor girl. I mean, do you laugh at other people's misfortunes like that? Share them with me, boys and girls. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. She wasn't hurt at all, you know, but she was totally embarrassed and literally got up and ran out, and I didn't see her for the rest of the night. Well, I did, that's a lie. She did come back about an hour and a half later. Poor girl. It was very... Don't laugh. Stop it. You're making me laugh now. You shouldn't be laughing this. No one can be this happy. No one can be this. It was very, very funny. But she did, because she was so drunk, silly girl kept leaving her handbag all over the place. And twice I said, is this yours? And, oh, yeah, thanks very much. I didn't even know what was going on, really. I don't think, to be honest. And twice I gave her a handbag back, so I hope she didn't lose it that night. Or isn't that the worst thing, losing your handbag? What's the worst thing to lose? Got to be keys, isn't it? Not cash, not credit cards, keys. Possibly the worst thing you can lose, the keys. Anyway, so what's been happening? My car is being looked at the moment because, as I say, the diesel fumes were coming into the cabin area, so they've got my car at the moment. And I've been given a Toyota IQ, I didn't know they even did one, an automatic IQ. And get this right, to start the car, you just push a button. How wonderful is that? No key, you push a little button on that dashboard and it bursts into life. What a shame people aren't like that, boys and girls. You're probably looking around at perhaps your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your children, whatever, and you're thinking, I wish I could just push a button and switch you on. Do you know what I mean? They just lay there in a complete mess, don't they? Dear, dear me. The things you have to do to get some people going, you need a real good kick up the arse first thing in the morning, that's the trouble. What do you like getting out of bed in the morning, eh? Are you one of those, I just... Prize open and I can't, is that the I'll go and have another 10 minutes sleep? Or do you jump out of bed full of the joys of spring? Can you guess which one of those I am? Can you guess? Can you guess? Eh? You can, can't you? Yes. Anyway, so that's that. The house buying. Someone has sent in a little note on the house buying. Our friend Jesse BT, who writes, you know what, Chris, with if you don't know what we're talking about, then I was telling you about the flat that I was buying yesterday, and if you missed that show, it'll be Thursday the 26th of January 2012 show. You can find that by going to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, all right? Thursday the 26th of July 2012. And Jesse BT says, you know, Chris, with what you just read about all those stipulations attached, it sounds like you wouldn't be owning anything just ripped off. If you buy a property right out, it should be yours to do what you want and have you want to live and have you want to live on the property. Okay, but the firm just seems wrong. Don't buy it at all. Look for another place to purchase, and you are right. It's best to lose a little now instead of a lot later. And indeed, those of you that have been following that story, I have indeed pulled out of the buying process to that particular place. And that's it, really. There's nothing else to be said. I informed the relevant people. I thought I was going to get told off for some reason by solicitors or people like that, but no, none of that happened at all. So there we are. It's done. I have since got an email from the estate agent who was selling the property saying that the person who was selling it is willing to pay the costs that I will incur to put a tenant in the property. And also wanted to advise both her neighbours have pets, cats one side, dogs the other, and they've never had to have any costs incurred for those. But do you know what I mean? I think a decision's been made now. The decision's been made now, and I think I'll stick to it, and that's it. I have indeed quick off the mark, and later on today, just after I've finished recording this show, actually, I'm going to view 3 more properties and start the whole process again. So that's where we are on that. All right. Okie doke. Emails. Hello from Ant and Big Dog, coming via YouTube, who say, totally right yesterday's show about the wee embryos. I said to you, I feel an embryo as soon as the sperm meets the egg. As far as I'm concerned, a life has been started. I mean, we're talking about, should you really be experimenting with human embryos at any stage? Anton Big Dog says, Chris, they are alive. The stem cell stuff is good as long as the blank stem cell comes from the patients themselves, but that's a way off. Transhumanism, they call it. Yucky stuff, all up. So thanks for that comment there, Ant and the Big Dog. Hello to John, who writes, sorry for swearing, but you talked about shooting giraffes, people shooting giraffes. Yes, was that yesterday's show or the day before? I can't remember now. I showed you some pictures of these people that travel thousands of miles to a country to shoot giraffes. Now, giraffes don't, as far as I know, giraffes don't attack people. They don't even eat meat. But people think it's great fun to spend, I don't know, £10,000 to go and shoot a giraffe and have your photo taken next to it. And I think it's dreadful to do shooting animals for sports. And John says, effing evil. How dare they kill such a beautiful, peaceful creature? I want to shoot the shooters. I'm upset. Yeah, you and me as well. I don't expect there's a lot of people that watch this show who are very upset by that dreadful giraffe shooting photos that I showed you the other day. Hello to American Quee Tea Pie. American Quee Tea Pie, who says, Chris, you are right about the embryonic stem cell use. It is not necessary to use embryonic stem cell, and in fact, the more of the most positive results in stem cell research since 12 years ago have repeated them been with the stem cells that are used from their hosts, which is what our other friend was saying, use of one's own stem cells. There has been a reason why many in the mainstream medicine and media keep insisting on propaganda that pushes for embryonic stem cell use. My guess is it's an attempt to make people think it's okay to kill embryos. Well, we have the whole embryo thing. I mean, it could run into the whole abortion debate as well. I'm just so against that. It's untrue. I really am. I do believe it's a killing of one life, whatever the reason, really, you know. Do we really want to go into... I'll just tell you how I feel about it. You know, people, they keep saying, oh, it gives women choice. Abortion gives women choice. But what about the choice of the baby that's growing inside? You know, I very much doubt that will say, oh, hey, yeah, okay, it's okay to murder me. Thank you very much. You know, that's how I feel on that subject. And that's nothing to do with religion or anything like that, you know. My religion says it's all wrong, but that's neither here nor there. That is how I feel. It's murder, and that is that. That's the end of it. Hello to Lisa in crazy California. Hello, Lisa, who sent me this rather amusing little quiz thing, really. It says here, student who obtained 0% on an exam and how he did it. Okay? Question 1. In which battle did Napoleon die? Answer, his last battle. No points. Number 2. Where was the Declaration of Independence signed? Question 2, at the bottom of the page. Number 3. River Ravi flows in which state? Answer, liquid. Number 4. What is the main reason for failure? Answer, exams. Number 5. What can you never eat for breakfast? Answer, lunch and dinner. I mean, it's obvious to me, isn't it, you? Why is he not being scored on any of this? Number 6. What looks like half an apple? Answer, the other half. 7. If you throw a red stone into the blue sea, what will it become? Wet. Number 8. How can a man go 8 days without sleeping? No problem, he sleeps at night. Number 9. How can you lift an elephant with one hand? Answer, you will never find an elephant that has only one hand. These are real answers, you know. 10. If you had 3 apples and 4 oranges in one hand, and 4 apples and 3 oranges in other hand, what would you have? Answer, very large hands. We love these, Lisa. 11. It took 8 men 10 hours to build a wall. How long would it take 4 men to build it? Answer, no time at all. The wall is already built. And number 12. How can you drop a raw egg onto a concrete floor without cracking it? Answer, any way you want. Concrete floors are very hard to crack. Thank you very much. We love it. We love it. Very good indeed. Thank you. Also, American Queety Pie comments on our new intros and outros, which have been around for a few weeks now. We've got lots of new intros and outros. Who says, she says, wow, what an interest, Chris. Chris, haha! Very exciting with all the explosions and all that. I could make it even more exciting. And explode in front of you, boys. Would you like me to do that? Shall I explode in front of you one day? These are my favourite intros so far. Lisa in California. P.S. My YouTube handle, American Queety Pie. Speaking of tea and pie, I could sure go for some tea and pie right now. I fancy a cup of tea, actually, but I've go out and view these properties today. Busy, busy, busy day ahead. Gene Evans writes, great show as always, Chris. Talking of yesterday's show, I think you have a lovely smile. I'm smiling now. It's always very important to smile, boys, because if you smile, other people will smile with you. They will. Lisa also writes in on the subject of CB radios. I am considering purchasing a CB radio. One of those great big aerials on the side of my house. Yes, I want to be the communication hub for London and the South East here in Royal Berkshire. And Lisa writes, regarding CB radio, I heard that at least here in the USA, the laws and fees have been changed to ridiculous. And most people simply can't afford the fees and do not want to bother with the hassles of all the licenses, etc., now involved in shortwave CB radio transmitting. My father was CBing here in the USA during the 70s, which is, was it the 70s? Let me think now. 60, yeah, 79. You see, 79, late 1979. That was the first time I went to America, and it was in, I think, possibly somewhere near Boston. When I went with the Scouts on a Scout jamboree type thing, and possibly Boston. It was. That was my first experience of CB radio. Right? The guy who took us in for a few days, me and 3 others actually. What was his name? I think his name was Mr. Fagerberg, Jan Fagerberg. Jan Fagerberg, I'm sure that was his name. Lovely, really, really nice man. Nice man. But he had a CB radio in his truck, and I was just fascinated by this CB radio. I loved it. I loved it. Although they did look after us, the family there, I have to say, one day we had this Chinese meal, and oh my God, I was just so sick afterwards because I'm really not good with foreign food. It was a lovely meal, and it just kept coming. Do you know what I mean? One course after another, they just kept arriving, these dishes. And I had it, and I went to bed, and I got up at night. I was sick as anything in the toilet. I never told them. You know, it's not a complaint. You know, I'm very grateful, but it just did not agree with me, this Chinese food, I'm afraid. I was just totally amazed by CB radio, and eventually I bought one. First on AM, and then when we got the FM legal stuff here in the UK, and I had one for years and years. And then when I got married, we gave all the CB radio up and that. And then when I got divorced, I think I had one for a very short period of time after that. I can't remember now. And I kind of just stopped using it. And then mobile phones came along. But I would like to get another CB radio, I think. I think it would be great fun to talk to people again that you don't know. Do you know what I mean? Who might be just passing through on the radio, just have conversations. Yes, Lisa's saying, my father was CBing here in the USA during the 1970s when I was a very little girl. That's when I was a little boy as well. That was when it was the golden age of CB radio. Father loved to go to Radio Shack, which we had to hear, Tandy's, often, and was also into doing electronics, you know, putting together those kits from Radio Shack, transistors, I think they are called. I remember his handle CB name was Bullfrog. Mine was Matchbox. My CB handle was Matchbox. Still makes me laugh. It's a shame they seem to have ruined it here in the USA for future generations. Will never know how fun and great the freedom to have your own radio show or to communicate via radio with people all over the world. Oh, well, of course there is Skype, but it just isn't as cool at an underground. From, again, Lisa in crazy California. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we could, you know, we can just click a button here and speak to someone in Australia almost completely free of charge, except, of course, for the money you're paying to the internet company for the line. But no, it isn't as much fun. You're quite right. You know, I don't think you can speak to people randomly on Skype, can you? Well, you just pick up that CB radio 14 for a copy, and you've no idea who's going to come back. That is just so exciting, such an exciting thing, CB radio. So thanks for that one, Lisa. And finally today, hello to James, who says, hi Chris, just to let you know, I do like the new United Kingdom Talk themes. It's great that you can get them for just $5. I will have a look on the site myself. It's surprising what you can find on the internet. And you saying that people being offended by things, or these people are always offended. Oh, I'm offended by that. Oh, I'm offended by that all the time. Why do people have to be offended all the time? Do a wonderful show and that's all you have to worry about. Oh, I don't think anyone's offended by this show. But it probably are, you know, but they don't dare say anything because I would be offended if you're offended. Don't be offended because I'll be offended, okay? Okay? I think that's what you've got to say to people now, okay? When they say, if you say something and they say, oh, I'm offended by that, and just look at them very seriously and say, well, I'm offended that you're offended. I'm really offended you're offended. And see what comes back. Let me know, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. James goes on to say, more on the boat that capsized, the big boat, of course, in Italy. Will we ever find out what happened on that day? By the looks on the news, there are so many reports, and even the captain can get his story straight. I think the captain will be charged for abandoning his ship, at least for other charges, I don't know. I agree with the media. He made a serious error of judgment for this to happen. Let's hope that everyone is found, and I hope that everything is sorted in a nice way. Yes, many people, of course, died on that boat. Just dreadful, dreadful. I've never been on a cruise myself, and I would like to go on one, but I can't decide where to go and the costs. Are there any tropical med things before I go? Oh, what, as in injections and things like that? Depends where you go, really. I think if you was to go on a cruise around perhaps Europe, I wouldn't imagine you need any injections or anything like that. He says, as for epic emails, you certainly got me going to try and get some up for you. That's from James. Thank you, James. And I saw you mention the media there. I was just going to tell you, here in the UK, I don't know if you've heard it, depending, of course, where you are in the world, we've had a big oil refinery close. This is the place where the crude oil comes and they make it into petrol and diesel. We've just had one close. and it provided quite a lot of the petrol for London and the South East. And this bloke came on the telly and said, nothing to worry about, you know, as long as people don't start panic buying, there's not a problem because we have other refineries here in the UK. I mean, it begs the question, you know, if a refinery closes, and we're always sitting here saying, you know, oh, they're making all the money from us out of petrol. Well, clearly they can't have been making money for them to go bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy. How, you know, and you kind of sit here thinking to yourself, how on earth does a petrol or oil refinery go bankrupt? You know? So who's making the money? Of course, the government take an enormous amount in tax revenue from a litre of petrol or diesel, of course. You know, so who actually makes all the money? That's the question. For a refinery to go bust. But one of the papers, it was either the Daily Mail or the Daily Express yesterday, showed a picture of a queue of cars at a forecourt, you know, saying, you know, this is what's happening now. And I don't know where they got that picture from, to be honest. I reckon they just drove round until they found a queue of cars outside a petrol station, which happens sometimes, you know. Does happen sometimes. Because I've already been out this morning and I've driven around, you know, to take my car in and that. And there's no queues outside petrol stations. But do you see what I mean? Once people have seen that picture, they will start doing the same thing because the paper has panicked people into buying loads of fuel. And quite often that's a really irresponsible thing for that paper to do, I think. Dreadful, dreadful. Anyway, that's it from the show today. As always, thanks very much for watching and listening. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. You have a nice Friday now. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.